Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to work on this little ring that was in our SoftFlex Design Challenge kit, All That Glitters. And now what I plan on doing, I need to wire wrap it with some 26 gauge gold SoftFlex Craft wire. And all the beads that were in the kit were actually bigger than I wanted to use. So we're using some tiny little 3mm Labradorite beads. Now this is not going to be hard. It's going to be pretty simple. I think just about if you can wrap a wire, you can make this ring. So what I'm going to need to do is cut some wire. Well, let's turn down and I'll show you what we're going to do. So we're going to use the gold silver-plated 26 gauge SoftFlex Craft wire to wrap this. And this is our little ring component. Now, when I'm talking about going through the ring, we'll be going through the hole here. And then when I say go over the bridge, it's right here at the top. So this is our ring blank. These are all our little Labradorite beads. There's 10 of them, 2 for either side. And they're 3mm. Now we need at least 8 inches of wire. I'm going to, oh, it decided to unspool itself. How pleasant of it. There it goes. Where's your end, though? And I don't mean this end, because I think that's the end. Oh, well, it'll work. So we need at least 8 inches. And I'm going to cut a little over 8 inches, especially since I do need to... silly thing unwrapped all the way here. Cut the end off because it looks like it has a kink in it, and I don't want to use a kink to start right off the bat. There's a kink right here too, but I think we can live with that one. But this one has to go here at this end. So now we've got, I think I've got a lot more than 8 inches though. Yeah, I've got almost 10, and I definitely don't need 10. 8 would be enough. So we'll put our ruler aside. And what we need to do to start this is take our ring piece and we'll put our wire through and just wrap like three or four wraps here. Well, more like 4 or 5. I like to make sure it's pretty secure. So let's wrap that around the base of our wire here. And then I'm going to flip this because we're going to slide this up here. And we're going to take our first Labradorite. Well, actually, I want to start from the other side. This side is where it's not right at the base. So we want to start on this side where it starts, where the wire has just come under the base. We don't want it to be an over one. We want it to be an under one. So we take our under one, like I said. We're going to take our wire. Wire is going to need to be tightened up later, but we're not going to worry about that right this second. We're going to take one of our Labradorite beads. It doesn't matter which one. They're all the same, little 3mm faceted Labradorites. Now we're going to hold that Labradorite up here while we put our wire through the first ring here. Now, I tend to put my finger in here so it doesn't kink as it goes around, because sometimes it's going to try to. And then we'll just sort of twist her so she goes pretty straight through here. See, she's trying to kink anyway. And we'll want that Labradorite to be pushed up here so that the hole is facing our ring. And then we want to pull it pretty darn tight. We don't want it loose here. So push these up, push you here, and get you tight. Now we want our second Labradorite on the other side of our ring. Don't drop it. Well, if we can find the hole. There we go. Now we're on the other side of our ring here, as you can see. Now we have 2 here. Now we're going to take this and we're going to go holding this in place. Come on, stay put. We're going to take our wire and go back through our ring to the other side. Pull it tight. You want it tight. You don't want these things loose. Now go over that bridge. See how I just went over the bridge there? Went right across there. Now we'll go through again. And now we're back over here on this other side. You can see we have the first two of our gems in place. Now we'll get the third one now. And again, we're going to go through this next ring. Put your finger in here to make sure that when you come through, you're not kinking. Now, bring her in and pull her tight. Now, see, this one is loose. See, it's trying to be loose here. We don't want that. We're going to pull her out, because the wire's already bent here, so she's trying to not go over that bend. So we got to go and make sure the bend is not a problem. Bring her back up here and push the bead up, because now she wants to be down there. So we need to pull her. Make sure it's tight, and if you can, make sure that the hole of your bead is going facing the hole of the ring. Come on, baby. Do as you're told. Now see, this one is trying to not face the hole. There we go. We got her. Now, once we have that done, we put the next one on the other side. Now this one tends to behave better because it's already snugged right up with the wire. So then we go through, pull it tight, come over the top of the bridge, and I'm moving my base of the ring some, but that's all right. We can straighten that later. So now we have 4. See how we have those 2 there? Now this wire looks like it might be a little loose right here where this first bead is going in, and we'll worry about that when we get to that end, get finished with all the beads. So again, we want, now that we've come across, we want to put our first Labradorite on, go through our ring, and bring our stone up so that it is facing the ring with the hole. Now, it doesn't always want to cooperate, and you just have to try and make it cooperate. So that it doesn't have a choice. This one is because the wire is bent again, and so we need to get it so the stone is more to the ring hoop here. So you'd think it would just automatically go through the ring, go face the ring, but it does not. You have to make sure it does it sometimes. Now this one, like I said, there's a bend right here, so the stone wants to lay so that the bend is just going to push it around until I get it closer to where I want it. There, that's much better. Okay, now we'll go for our next bead. This one looks like it might have a little citrine in it. It's more yellow colored, but that's all right. It doesn't matter. So now that we've got that in, like I say, through again, and then over the bridge and through. So now we have 6. We just got 2 more to put on. Well, 2 more rows, 4 totaled. So next one. Now, if you can't, sometimes when you're first putting your wire through your hoop, you can take hold of your bead and push it up into place properly. Because see, this needs to turn a little bit. It's going to try and go the opposite direction. So you need to make it, come on, you come around here, face the direction you want it to face before you even get up there if you can, because then you've got it in place already. But now this one's in place, but it's not tight. See how loose the wire is? We don't want loose wire like that. We have to get it tighter than that. So now I've got this side tight, but now it's loose here. And there's that wire again bent, so you have to straighten it up so that the bead will fall properly. So, because if you don't get the wire straighter than it is right here, it will not go through the bead to come over to the other side. So we need to straighten our wire some. And it actually should have already been tight here from the bridge, but it obviously loosened itself. Now we want to bring it back down and through and tighten it. And again, it's trying to not be tight. We don't want that, so we've got to work it a little bit till we get it to tighten up again. Now, if you need to get out your pliers to give it an extra tug, you can always do that as well. Now, as you can see, these beads are trying to move over here too close to this other one, so we want to try and wiggle them over here some so that they give a little more gap space here. Before we put our next bead on. So then we'll put our next bead on, slide it up into place. See, now this side always behaves better because it's already right there at the ring the wire is. So now we pull this around tight and go through the bridge again. Now this bridge is getting hard to get to because we're at this other end now, and the beads have all tried to come to the center of their ring, and the ring, and then they're pushing against each other. So we want to sort of, wiggle the beads over this way if we can. See how I'm doing that? Just pushing them sideways like that. And then we'll want to get in that bridge as much as we can. It's trying to come out right now because this bead is a little bit holding it. So I'm going to use my thumbnail and push it down into the bridge as much as I can here. So that when it comes around, it's in that bridge as much as possible. So I'm going to hold it right here. We're going to go through. No, come on, you behave. Stop bending. I want you to go right there. Okay. I think I got it into place as much as I can right now. Now I'm going to take it over here and I'm going to give it a good pull to hold it on that bridge as much as possible. I want it down into the bridge if I can get it there. So Because see how the rest of them are pretty good, but as we go this way, we're sliding this direction a little bit because the beads are even just a little bit bigger than our loops are. So if you have some 2s, you could try some 2s. Even some number 6 seed beads, if you don't have any little gemstones like this, would work nicely. So we got the next to the last bead on. We're in that difficult spot again. Pull her up nice and tight. Come on, you. Now, if it's being really difficult, you can always take your pliers to tug it. You don't want to over tug it too much though, of course, because you don't want to break your wire. So then we're going to put our last one on. Snug it in as best you can. And then bring your wire through. And this time there's not a bridge to go through. So what you're going to do is you're going to wrap tightly 3 or 4 times on this side. Maybe even 4 or 5 if you prefer a little bit more. There's 4, and I'm going to bring this up here because we're going to end this one up here too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So this is at the 5 right here. And now we want to make sure these are all snugged in here pretty tightly. Now we're going to cut our wires off. And I'm going to cut them here towards the top. You're less likely to have some people complaining about it scratching if they're up at the top. I'm going to take my regular plier and I'm going to squish it down. Now you can do this with a nylon jaw if you prefer. But you remember, you don't got a lot of space here. It's a small piece that you're working on. Do the same over here on this side. Now the other thing you can do, see how the wires are in here? You can carefully take your pliers and give them a little squeezes down here. I say carefully because you don't want to break your stones by squishing too hard. Just want to lightly squish it to flatten those wires out. Now so there we go. She's all done. Now let's see if these are loose. Now if these are little loose wires here at the back, this one is a little bit loose. So what you can do if that happens is take your pliers, take hold of your last wire, and give it just a teeny twist. And that twist will tighten your wire up and hopefully push your bead. This one's, see, it's trying to slide this way a little bit. It will tighten your wire up and keep your bead closer to where you want it at. So there we go. All finished. Isn't she pretty? Hope you enjoyed making this with me. So I think it turned out lovely and just how I envisioned it. So there we go. This is our little ring, ring blank that was in our SoftFlex All That Glitters kit. I have taken the blank and I have wrapped little 3mm Labradorite beads on either side of the 5 rings that are welded on the top of our regular ring. Isn't that pretty? Let's get it. See if you can, how close we can get it, and hopefully it'll focus so you can see what it looks like. So there we go. No, I like it. I think it turned out just the way I envisioned it. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we have been using SoftFlex Design Challenge Kit, All That Glitters, to make this pretty little ring. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.